and you're going
Yeah,
to
so welcome back to the channel. Michal is thinking of taking his this camper down through France next year. And
yeah, so on Enda's advice, 3 years ago, we went to this little place called Ile de Ré, down just off of La Rochelle. It's a little island just off of La Rochelle, down on the west coast of, kind of halfway down on the west coast of France. And we had a ball. It's a beautiful spot. It's like how you described it as being.
yeah, it's awesome.
Like the untouched
Yeah.
French experience, and it was. And we had lovely weather as well to top it all off. So I was just saying, I was just speaking with my wife just today.
But you flew down there.
We flew down. You fly. It was at ease. It was a beautiful way to enter into your holidays. You fly in to La Rochelle Airport. It's a small little airport, so you don't have to deal with all the bullshit of larger airports. You know, security takes 2 seconds to walk through. They're not even looking at you, basically. And right outside the door then is the buses into La Rochelle, into the centre of La Rochelle. So you don't have to go looking for a bus there either.
Yeah, we actually got a bus right out to the island.
From the airport.
Yeah,
well, we didn't. We probably walked by that bus. But even at that, the bus that we got from the airport went straight into the centre town square of La Rochelle, and from there we were 5 minutes there, and we hopped on another bus to bring us. I think it's 20 minutes journey, if even.
Yeah, yeah.
Out over the bridge and onto the island, into paradise, and it was beautiful. So we were talking last night, myself and my wife, about getting the ferry from the south of Ireland here, from Cork, down across into Le Havre, probably. Is it Le Havre? One of the two ports anyway on the top. I think Le Havre is the furthest one over.
Oh, Cork, Roscoff, actually.
Roscoff, yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool place.
Yeah, and journeying down. And you pointed out that may not be such a good idea.
So the point of this video is, what's it like doing a long journey? Because a lot of people, what they do is they have this romantic idea, and it is, you know, it's a cool experience of, you know, next year we're going to do a trip, you know, a long trip, wherever it is, across the States or across Australia. We're going to buy a camper and we're going to go. All right, okay, hold on there now. You have to realize that when you're traveling, you're not necessarily on holidays. It's work. And
that's a mindset too. And to be fair, if you have the ability to turn off and put the journey into your holiday, that's fine. And you have to have a certain amount of naivety in doing these things too, or else you'll never do anything.
Well, you do, but when you've got kids, it's completely different.
They ruin everything. No, a long journey with children is
not a bad idea in general.
Not good.
So, from what I was just mentioning, why this video might be useful to people is to realise that if you're going to travel from here, from Britain, the middle of Britain, or from Ireland down through France, you're talking about a day's travel home country, 24 hours on a boat. You arrive the next morning, or whatever it is, 18 hours. And then from there, first of all, you have to navigate a new, different side of the road, a new transport system.
Yeah.
You don't speak the language. If Google says it's you know, a 15-hour drive, it's not. It's a 30-hour drive.
Yeah, because not factoring in the toilet stops, the
food, rest. You've got to stop. You know, you have to stop every 2 or 3 hours. So that journey down.
And a stop. Sorry for cutting across you. A stop is an hour. Yeah. If you stop anywhere on a journey, it's an hour. It's an hour out onto your journey. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The drive from north of France, Roscoff, down to the centre of Bay of Biscay, there, La Rochelle. It's about, if you were to do it straight, which you won't be able to do, it'll be a 2-day journey, because your journey time is maximum. Especially with kids, maximum maybe 4 hours you're going to be driving. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I can do without squabbling, kicking, screaming, fighting, pinching.
3 to 4 hours.
Well, you're going to get an hour and a half of clean driving, and then after that, they'll start to moan, and rightly so. Like it's not easy for them to be. They don't understand the mission at hand. They're on holidays and they can't understand why they're not having fun. So you have to factor in the fun on the journey. I'm learning, but was one for setting a mission and a big goal and a big try to
target.
Yeah, knock out as much distance in a day, and my wife is pulling me back, going no,
You can't do that. She's right.
She's nearly always right.
Yeah.
But
funny that even when I'm right, she's right.
she takes the time to factor in these, like, to look at the journey and to find little fun spots for kids on the way, like little even outdoor play places, indoor play places, weather permitting, petting
Scenic
zoos. Yeah, just to keep the kids happy, because if the kids are happy, you're happier. And you'd like to portray yourself as being this cool, calm and collected, easygoing guy, but when you're trying to concentrate on driving and you've 2 kids fighting behind you, or 3 kids, one crying and screaming, it's the devil comes out in you. Well, it does in me anyway, and then it doesn't make for a good atmosphere in the van. So long journeys, unless you have your Valium in, don't do it.
Don't drive with Valium.
Don't drive with Valium either.
Yeah. So anyway, that journey is you're probably talking at 3 days to your destination.
Okay.
And if you've got, you can head naively into that and say you'll do the whole stint down through France in 1 day, but that's
being a hero.
8 or 10 hours driving, and if you don't crash, you're gonna have a horrible time. And you arrive.
And is that motorway?
Yeah, even if it is motorway, it's a long way.
Yeah.
It's like it's about 800 kilometers or something.
Right.
Or something, in around that. But yeah, it's naivety at best. I could come up with tougher words if you wanted, but we'll try and keep it family friendly. You gotta plan these journeys, and when you're heading out, like if you're staying on home turf and you're only traveling like 200 or 150 kilometers or 100 kilometers a day, that's fine, or 100 miles a day, whatever it is, that's fine. You're not factoring in a big ferry journey, or renting a camper van on continent or whatever, because a lot of people do that. They fly and then they rent a camper van and then head from there. But that, my God, I wouldn't even dream of doing that.
No,
that would be a nightmare. It wouldn't be a dream, it'd be a nightmare.
Anytime, I don't borrow stuff as a rule anymore, because too many times I've borrowed something or rented something and inevitably it breaks or something happens. And I'm sure there's a hefty penalty on the smallest of scrape or dent, and when you're exploring, you find yourself down some very roads. I know we were down in Cornwall in the south of England, and my God, what they call a road down there.
It wouldn't even pass in the west of Ireland, which is saying something.
Yeah, you wouldn't fit a bicycle. If you were cycling a bicycle down these roads and you met another bicycle, you'd have to reverse back. There's no going around. But I digress.
The point is, be aware of what your trip involves, and especially if you've got kids involved, and only factor, like when you're when you're going on a camping trip with your camper van, be aware that like the maximum driving time per day would be, if you want it to be a holiday, would be 2 hours or 3 hours. Because then you have time to set up in the morning, time to pack away, and then when you get to the place, it's not 6 o'clock in the evening and you don't have to feed a gang of kids. Like you can get there in the afternoon and relax and make it a holiday. And be aware that when a ferry is involved, it adds an extra day each way. So you may think you're going on a 2-week holiday, but there's 3 days already gone traveling.
See, there's the things you don't think about. and it's only experience that'll teach you.
Yeah, make the journey a holiday as well. So stop along the way. You know, if you have a destination like that, South of France, stop twice along the way. You know, stay a week in the South of France, and then make the rest of your journey a night here, 2 nights there, and that kind of thing.
And the ferry,
I think that works better.
Yeah. The ferries also. The ferries can be a wonderful part of your holiday, or they can be a prison.
Yeah, especially if you get seasick like me.
Either or, yeah, no, and that's another thing. Even if you don't think you will get seasick, prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
Really, take the medication, even if you may not think that you may not need it. You're better off being safe than sorry, because starting out your holiday feeling seasick and having to head into, like you say, the guts of a 3-hour drive, it's not fun. You shouldn't put it on yourself.
So that's this. I hope you find that's this video. I hope you find that useful.
Yeah, just
entertaining at least.
Take the time before your trip to really think about what you're doing, and if you have kids, make the holiday about them, make the journey about them, or factor them into your journey at least, because if you keep them happy,
you're ace. You're done.
Everything. The holiday is a holiday.
Yeah.
And it's not a mission.
Absolutely.
So,
alrighty, done.
Good luck with it.